It's every flyer's worst fear. Your plane is going down, and unless you've got Sully as your pilot, you're gonna crash. Is there any way for you to make it out alive? Well, keep your seatbelts fastened and your tray tables in the upright and locked position. I know how to make it through. This is Epic How To Survive a Plane Crash. If you want to learn how to survive a plane crash because you're worried about your next flight, you can breathe easy. According to a study by the US government, of the 568 plane crashes in the US between 1993 and 2000, over 90% of the passengers and crew survived. Even the most deadly crashes still saw half the passengers and crew make it out alive. That's 50%! Great odds! So the video's over, right? Everybody can go home. Wrong! It's not! The study also found that 1/3 of those who died in plane crashes could have survived if they had taken the proper precautions. So what are those precautions? Well, it starts when you buy your ticket. You're gonna want to get the safest possible seat. Thinking about splurging and going first class? Well, I can't argue with free booze, but you're less likely to survive if you sit near the front of the plane. Because when you hit a mountain, it's the first thing that hits it. The front. Accordion to death into the Alps. According to a 2007 study, Popular Mechanics magazine analyzed all commercial airline crashes in the US since 1971. Passengers seated in the rear cabin have a 69% survival rate as opposed to 56% in the middle of the plane and just 49% in the front of the plane. And make sure you sit within 5 rows of an exit row. Studies also have found that people within 5 rows of an exit row have a higher rate of survival because they can you guess? They can exit the plane faster. Thanks, $1 million study. So what's safer, a window seat, an aisle seat, or a middle seat? Actually, none of your 3-seat options are safer than any other. Research on the safest seat location has found no statistical advantage in where you sit. If you can, you're going to want to fly on the largest plane possible. The bigger the plane, the more energy it will absorb upon impact, and the less force you'll be subjected to when you hit the Alps. Also, book a direct flight. According to Todd Curtis, an aviation safety expert, most plane crashes occur during takeoff and landing. Therefore, a direct flight is statistically less likely to crash. Also, on the day of your flight, wear proper clothing. You're going to want to leave clothes made from polyesters or nylons at home as they're highly flammable. Instead, wear something with natural fibers like cotton or wool. They look way better on you anyways, champ. You'll also want to have a good pair of shoes. High heels, sandals, or any shoes that make it hard to run increase the time it will take for you to exit the crashed plane. Listen to the safety announcements. You know that thing that flight attendants say that you usually ignore? Take your headphones out and pay attention, you boner. When the plane crashes, it's the information in the safety announcements that'll probably keep you alive. Buckle your seatbelt as tight as it can go. Every bit of slack increases the potential G-forces you'll be subjected to during the crash. Next, have an escape plan. Visualize how you'll get to the exit row. Know how you'll get to a second or third exit row too in case the way to the closest exit row is blocked. When the plane's going down, you need to remain calm. The instant the oxygen mask drops, put it on, and make sure you put yours on first before you help those around you, or steal their masks for extra oxygen for you. It's all about you here. You're going to want to properly brace yourself in the brace position recommended by the FAA. First, put your seat back in the upright position. Then, grasp your ankles and position your legs together with your knees ahead of your feet. This will prevent your legs from flying forward and potentially breaking them, making it more difficult for you to exit the plane. Then, rest your head and chest against your legs. Make sure your head is facing down and not sideways to protect your neck. That's vital. If you can, place a carry-on item under the seat in front of you. This will help brace your legs and avoid further injury. You might think about using a blanket or a pillow to help cushion the impact, but don't! They actually increase the possibility of secondary impact injuries. Blankets and pillows can also clutter the aisle, making it harder for people to evacuate. Yes! You survived the crash, but that's only the first part. It's not the impact that kills most people in a plane crash, it's the fire. The National Transportation Safety Board reports that 68% of all deaths in a plane crash are the result of fire. That's a nightmare statistic. Once you crash, you have to act fast. It takes just 90 seconds to engulf the plane's fuselage and blow the whole plane up. Every second you wait for someone to tell you what to do drastically decreases your odds of survival. Time to man or woman up, bucko. Get the off the plane! First, don't wait for instructions or orders from flight crew. What the do they know? They know what to do when it's flying. You're on the ground now. They might be incapacitated, or they might be stricken with what scientists call negative panic, a condition where people are so stunned by traumatic events they physically cannot move. That's a nightmare statistic. Now, it sounds dumb, but try to remember how to unbuckle your seatbelt. Research has found that the stress and trauma of the crash makes people forget that their seatbelt unbuckles on the front, rather than on the side with a push button like a car. Not in a car, you're in a freaking plane that's about to explode. Keep your together. Aight? If you see smoke, find a piece of fabric or cloth to cover your nose and mouth. Even a couple of breaths of smoke can cause you to go unconscious. Ditch your carry-on bag or any personal items. You simply don't have the time to take everything, and you're gonna need both hands to push aside any debris in your way or to cover your nose and mouth. When exiting the plane, don't push or shove, you dick. Fighting between passengers only slows the exit process down and can result in further injuries. Yeah, I survived the crash into the mountain. There was a big fire, but this jackhole pushed me out the door. Broke my spine. Once you're out of the plane, you want to get as far away from the crash as possible in case of an explosion. But don't go too far. Rescuers will be looking for survivors near the crash site. Now, if all of this freaks you out, don't worry. Airline travel is extremely safe and you're ultimately very unlikely to be involved in a crash. The odds of dying in a plane crash are 1 in 8,000. Compare that with the odds of dying on a motorcycle, which are 1 in 900, or dying in a car, which are 1 in 112. Oh, perspective. Congratulations, you made it out of the plane crash alive and well, and maybe next time you'll just take the train. Hope those humans tasted good, you were friends, they have a family, you have to talk to them in the future. This has been Epic How To! Let us know what topic you guys think we should break down next in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.